At this point, it has become pretty obvious that tokenization is going to be talked about for probably the next couple years. Because again, this is a market that will only continue to evolve, continue to get adopted, continue to grow. We will see bigger players entering this space. We will see more money entering this space. And even today, when we look at the value of tokenization, we're at $29.58 billion. This is up almost 8% in the last 30 days. And also the total RWA holders are nearing 400,000, up 7+% in the last 30 days. And even if we're looking at the overview itself, right? We just surpassed $30 billion in total RWA on-chain value. And across the board, we are seeing growth. I mean, it's not even just total RWAs on chain, it's also stablecoin value as well. We are seeing a growth across the board within these key areas that we've been talking about for what kind of seems like forever. However, in the last 12 months, all of this really started to pick up. Now, yes, we 100% need to focus on XRP because XRP this year, we started to see this entire ecosystem expand. We're not just talking about tokenized RWAs, we're also talking about stablecoins. Take a quick look at what's happening here. Number one, right off the rip, RWA value over $356 million, up almost 10% in the last 30 days. Total RWAs on chain for XRP, 22. And then also stablecoin market cap up 23+% in the last 30 days. 265 million. Total stablecoins on chain right now, 4. We know that there's going to be about 7. But again, this is incredible to see. We are seeing a big push across the board here for XRP. Now, yes, a lot of this growth we can look at where a lot of this growth is coming from. For example, Open Eden Digital is up 10+% in the last 30 days, nearing $84 million. Zeconomy is up 200+%, well, 200% flat at $30 million. Then also Control Alt up almost 44%, 6.2 million. And then Circle, USDC, up 160% in the last 30 days as well. Now, you can look through here and see exactly what's growing. The main one here is Zeconomy, right? Zeconomy is a big player within this list. And you can just kind of track everything in real time. But I bring all of this up because we continue to see more and more updates around the XRP ledger pertaining back to institutional grade tokenization. By now, you probably heard the news. We're going to talk about it. Let's look into this post here real quick from Neatsbucks, which was, you typically invite your own partners to your own conferences. Ripple's head of strategic partnerships host heads from Franklin Templeton, Fidelity, and Citi to discuss how banks will shape the future of digital assets. And what's interesting about this is this all pertained back to tokenization, custody, and just tapping into these technologies. Now, I do agree. You typically invite those that you are networking with, connecting with, possibly even partnering with. Now, the craziest part about this is we just got a big update from Ripple introducing the next building block of on-chain markets. We're partnering with DBS Bank and Franklin Templeton to establish repo markets powered by tokenized collateral and stablecoins. Investors will be able to use ROUSD to trade for Franklin Templeton's money market fund, SG Benji, tokenized on the XRP ledger and list it on DBS's digital exchange, earning yield and opening new liquidity venues. This is the start of a very, very interesting push on the XRP ledger, which is institutional grade tokenization that will lead to institutional DeFi becoming a reality through these tokenized assets. But also, on top of that, we are starting to see, these announcements happen on a very consistent, schedule. It's kind of crazy. Almost every other week, we're starting to see some big update about some institutional player tapping into the XRP ledger or expansion of ROUSD through an institutional player within the XRP ledger. This is what we want to see. This is basically what we were hoping for after the SEC lawsuit ended. And guess what? It's starting. Now, when we think about this, let's look back at what NeetsBucks posted again, which was there's Franklin Templeton as a partner, now on to BlackRock, Citi, and Fidelity. Now, we don't know if these are going to get announced. However, a lot of people are looking into this, thinking the same thing. Here we have from dapps. Below is a list of speakers attending Ripple's Swell event this year. DBS and Franklin Templeton have announced that they are building on the XRP ledger, and more companies on the list are expected to follow suit. Here are all of those players that are at Ripple Swell: Amina Bank, Atlantic Council, Bitnomial, Bitwise, BlackRock, Blockchain Association BNY, Canary Capital, Citi, CME Group, CNV of Argentina, Coinbase, DBS Bank, Duke University, Elliptic, European Parliament, Fidelity, Franklin Templeton, Hidden Road, Moody's, NASDAQ, OKX, Rails, Crypto Plus Others, Schumann Financial, XTX Markets. Now, yeah, a lot of these players on this list already have some sort of exposure back to Ripple or even XRP. BNY, for an example, RLUSD, main custodian of it. Canary Capital, like a lot of these players already have an XRP ETF filing in place. We've talked about Citi with Medico back in like 2023. We don't know if that's still in place or not. Beyond that, we also have a few other things like Hidden Road, which is an acquisition. I mean, there's a lot of connections here back to these major players that are going to be at Ripple Swell. But I've always said that Ripple Swell is going to be a very big event for us to lock in on. We will see announcements around this event. We will start to see big pushes around this event as well. And that's exactly what we're now starting to see with this announcement. Now, we did get an update from a few Ripple employees. Jack McDonald, for an example, said repo transaction volume is well into the tens of trillions globally. Nearly $12 trillion in the US in 2024 itself. And DBS Bank and Franklin Templeton, as well as Ripple, will together enable the first ever repo trade for a tokenized money market fund with RLUSD, a regulated, stable, and liquid mode of exchange. And this is going to be on the XRP ledger. And like I said, this is all based around institutional DeFi. How do we know? Well, because this is going to be, tapping into yield generation and opening new liquidity venues through possibly liquidity pools. This is the big push from institutional players that, guess what? They're jumping into tokenization, they're jumping into stablecoins, but they're also jumping into DeFi. Now, Monica Long also did say, in order for tokenized financial assets to solve the problems they've been promised to solve, we need both, number one, liquid secondary markets, and number two, utility for these assets, such as with collateralization. That's exactly what these players are doing with Ripple, working towards with this announcement. So again, incredible to see. Now let's dive on into the official announcement. Here we have it. So DBS and Franklin Templeton to launch trading and lending solutions powered by tokenized money market funds and Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin. Again, trading and lending. When we think about this, we go back to DEXs, we go back to DeFi. Institutional DeFi is now happening. And yes, it's all based around RLUSD and the XRP ledger. Going down here, we have investors can earn a yield by acquiring Franklin Templeton's SG Benji token on DBS digital exchange using Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin. By the way, we're going back over here real quick. I believe that it's in institutional funds. I just want to go and grab, I think that it might be better if I just go to Stellar. Let's just go to Stellar just so that I could grab Franklin Templeton real quick, because this is that Benji Investments token. So this Benji token is on multiple networks. Obviously, Stellar is number one. But there's $736 million tied to this, almost $737 million tied to this. This has been growing steadily over the last couple of years. And if we're thinking about this, right, with this announcement, how much more value could hit, the chain? I do think that this could easily hit $1 billion by the end of this year. I mean, the value that could be tied to the XRP ledger could rally against Stellar, and I'm not trying to make this argument that, XRP is better than Stellar. I just think that we're going to start to see values on these other networks increasing significantly as well. But let's go back real quick. So DBS will explore enabling SG-BENJI tokens to be used as collateral to obtain credit from the bank or third-party platforms. And then we have, in Singapore, you gotta love that it's in Singapore. These announcements are always so huge for Ripple around these areas. Now, they are partnering to provide accredited and institutional investors with innovative trading and lending solutions powered by tokenized money market funds on the XRP Ledger blockchain and stablecoins such as ROUSD. They all signed a memorandum of understanding to launch trading and lending solutions powered by tokenized money market funds and stablecoins left to right. We have all of the individuals, photographed. Now, on top of that, we have down here that this partnership formalized with the signing of a memorandum of understanding brings together the unique strengths of one of Asia's largest financial institutions, a global investment manager, and the leader in enterprise blockchain and cryptocurrency solutions. It marks a new milestone in the growing maturation of the digital asset ecosystem, which is already seeing greater interest from institutional investors allocating to the asset class. Some 87% of institutional investors expect to make investments into digital assets in 2025. And why wouldn't they, right? Institutional grade adoption is picking up in a huge way. BBVA just recently put out an article this year talking about the role of tokenization in the financial system of the future, addressing tokenization, DLT, tapping into these technologies, because they are going to affect every single market out there. And this is essentially the beginning phase of the new financial system beginning. And of course, yes, Ripple is already working with BBVA. We got this announcement on the 9th, so just 10 days ago. And also, by the way, when we think about these announcements, you might not see XRP within this announcement, but if you go to Ripple Custody, yes, you can tap in to tokenization within Ripple Custody, and it takes you right to the XRP Ledger page from Ripple. So this is where we start to see that institutional grade adoption really heating up. And of course, when we think about all of the other institutional players tapping in, like JP Morgan, this year has been all about these big banks tapping into tokenization, launching tokenization around money market funds, around deposit tokens, you name it. And then also, Bank of America, right? July 3rd, Bank of America put out this announcement, Merchant Services Account Token Management. Again, tokenization is the big focus here. You're going to have customer tokens, billing tokens, deposit tokens. It's kind of insane, but all of the big banks are now on board. 2025 has been the year where all of these big banks are jumping on the ship. Now, when we look at the next phase here, we have enabling innovative trading and lending solutions. Digital asset investors typically allocate directly into public blockchain native tokens such as Bitcoin, Ether, and XRP. This may expose them to the inherent market volatility of cryptocurrencies while earning no yield on their portfolios. To enable clients to manage their digital asset portfolios more nimbly in response to rapidly changing market conditions, DBS Digital Exchange will list SG-BENJI, the token of Franklin Templeton's tokenized money market fund, Franklin On-Chain US dollar short-term money market fund, alongside ROUSD. With this setup, eligible DBS clients can trade ROUSD for SG-BENJI tokens, enabling them to rebalance their portfolios into a relatively stable asset 24/7 and within minutes, while earning yield during periods of volatility. Then down here we have, in the next phase of this partnership, DBS will explore helping clients unlock liquidity by using their SG-BENJI tokens as collateral. Potential use cases include obtaining credit either from the bank via a repurchase transaction or from third-party platforms where DBS will act as an agent holding the collateral. This gives clients access to wider liquidity pools while providing peace of mind to clients and third-party lenders that the pledged collateral is held with a trusted bank. And then strengthening the ecosystem for tokenized securities. To strengthen the tokenization ecosystem, Franklin Templeton will tokenize SG-BENJI on the XRP Ledger. Adding the XRP Ledger to Franklin Templeton's existing lineup of blockchains strengthens interoperability across networks, enabling greater accessibility across different chains and participants in the blockchain ecosystem. Now, we already know why it was chosen, right? Speed, efficiency, low transaction cost. all providing an ideal platform for managing the life cycle of a high volume, low latency asset like a tokenized money market fund. Then we have a few quotes down here. Digital asset investors need solutions that can meet the unique demands of a borderless 24/7 asset class. This partnership demonstrates how tokenized securities can play that role while injecting greater efficiency and liquidity into the global financial markets. Having been active in Asia's blockchain ecosystem since 2021, this initiative strengthens our leadership position and represents a new front in DBS's mission to provide our clients with trusted institutional-grade solutions to build their digital asset portfolios. We believe that blockchain and tokenization unlock powerful new use cases that have the potential to reshape the global financial ecosystem. Leveraging Franklin Templeton's expertise in blockchain technologies and digital assets, we are excited to partner with DBS and Ripple to introduce cutting-edge trading and lending solutions for investors. This collaboration represents a meaningful advancement in the utility of tokenized securities and a significant step forward in the growth of Asia's digital asset ecosystem. 2025 has been marked as a series of industry firsts when it comes to traditional financial institutions moving on chain. And the link up between Ripple, DBS, and Franklin Templeton to enable repo trades for a tokenized money market fund with a regulated, stable, and liquid mode of exchange such as ROUSD is truly a game changer. Investors can also seamlessly rebalance their portfolios between a stablecoin and a yield-generating money market fund, all within a single trusted ecosystem, unlocking real-world capital efficiency, utility, and liquidity with, this big focus on institutional demands. So again, if we're thinking about what's happening here, we are witnessing that big shift. These are massive names. DBS is not a small-time name. This is not a small-time announcement. Franklin Templeton has a massive amount of assets under management, $1.62 trillion just to be specific. When we are thinking about these moves, they are becoming bigger. They are becoming more, familiar now within crypto because we've been seeing them all year long. But I want you guys to understand that this is that big shift. We are starting to see the market mature. We are starting to see this market become legitimized. I love to see this, because this is everything that, we have been talking about. XRP was essentially primed for this moment. Institutional grade adoption of public blockchains. Institutional grade adoption of tokenization on public blockchains. Institutional focus on institutional DeFi use cases. This is everything that we have talked about in the past that will lead to trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars flooding on chain. This is a very big moment for the entire space, but more specifically for XRP. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, this has been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.